All right, let's
So,
shift gears just quickly here because of the St. John's thing.
yeah, man,
I,
Johnnies,
I know you're front and center. So the new athletic director at St. John's,
Eddie
Ed
Cole.
Cole,
Yep.
he was at my alma mater, Fordham, and
Hmm.
it's not easy, being a Fordham, knowing what our basketball program looks like. But Ed was great in his time as athletic director, and I was so happy that I hated to see him leave, but I know about his ties with St. John's. He'll be great there. Um, but
He's
there's
doing
so
great things now.
yeah, he's just. Can I give you a story?
Yes.
So there's a lot of us Fordham alum in pretty good media positions, whether it's
Yep.
Michael Kay, Michael Breen. You can go down the list of guys. He made it a concerted effort when he first got hired at Fordham to reach out to all of us and to bring everybody together, get
Mm.
everybody on board. And just little things like that. So now, but he inherited Pitino. Pitino was already there.
Hmm.
My guess is they're gonna work very well together. But this energy to have like, New York City. I grew up in New York City, Carl. I grew up in the New York metropolitan
Hmm.
area. I know all about the Rucker Playground and the history of basketball in New York. Obviously, the Knicks are a much better team than they had been for a long time. And St. John's is now, packing the garden or whatever. Is there anything better than when New York City basketball, especially those two teams? And I worked for the Nets for a long time, but it's not the same as the Knicks and St. John's and the way that building shakes.
Man, it is such the energy around New York City basketball is just incredible. And the reason being is, both New York teams have always been relatable, community centered, right? Like, the Knicks are, New York's team and people just relate to them, right? And then St. John is a team of the people. Like St. John's is there with right in the heartbeat of Queens, but they are like they're the blue collar college, right? This is the college of the people. And when you see the even if you go to Carnesecca Arena, just it's just a big community gathering that just comes out and roots for their team as if it were a big time. And I'm not discounting it, but it's the community feel of when you have a great high school team in your town, right? That's what Carnesecca feels like. Like it's just incredible. People are out and everybody knows each other and they're just rocking with the team, man.
Think about in the 80s, right? I mean, you
That
had
was my yeah,
Carnesecca, St.
yeah,
John's, you had Archbishop Malloy High School that was
yeah.
just churning out point guard after point guard under the legendary Jack Curran. I mean, the vibe. And they used to do the Catholic High School Championship game at Fordham.
Yeah.
And it was like, Rice. And yeah, so good. Now, have you spent much time with Patino?
We've spent a little bit early, but not a whole lot. No. I and
He's laser focused.
yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing. Just because I know how these guys prepare, the last thing I want to do is have some conversation that means nothing to him getting his team ready. But his team, his support staff have been really great to me, and Ed has been great. But it's just and then here's the thing too. I absolutely love being an ambassador for the program, and it's just like again, I'm not a Johnny come lately. I've been here since the '80s, right? So I just love hanging out and talking to the fans and just enjoying every win with them.
It's amazing, Carl. We always talk about culture change, new regimes coming, and Patino is
Hmm.
living proof that you can
Yeah,
change a culture.
yeah, yeah. He has obviously he has a plan. He walked in the building with a plan. Um, and I always say, and they showed one of the clips on Vice where he was, really challenging in his team. And I said, I swear that if you turn back the clock and put Parcells' face on it, that was one of his team meetings, right? But he has a plan. It's not a 1 year plan, it's a 2 year plan. And everywhere he goes from year one to year two, it's appreciable progress. And then when you look at the same track, and it must be the DNA of great coaches because Bill Parcells had that same track. Year one, year two, everywhere he's gone. Starting with the Giants, right? Year one, they were about to after year one, they're about to fire him. Year two, he's in the playoffs, and then it goes and goes and goes. Um, he goes to the Jets, same thing. He goes to the Patriots, same thing. He goes to the Cowboys, same thing. So they have a plan. They have an idea of what it takes to win. And you mentioned laser focus. They do not deviate off of that. And they make sure that their players are locked in. And I think the biggest thing that I see with Rick Pitino in today's era, and he keeps saying, I'm still learning how to coach these kids, right? But he was able to break through. He was able to crack the code and to be able to challenge a kid and the kid not wilt, or to be able to challenge a kid and the kid says, screw this, I'm transferring, right? His kids are bought in. And in today's sports, it's a dance to get, you're paying kids and you got to challenge them. You got to challenge their toughness. And a lot of these kids will go, too much for me, I'm going to the next program. Who has the biggest check, right? St. John's don't have the biggest NIL bucket, but they are playing for a coach who, and you listen to every one of these kids in their post-game interviews, they love playing for him. They love playing for each other. That's a testament to a championship caliber coach, not guys that are just looking to get theirs, right? They're representing the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. The fans are cherishing the name on the back of the jersey as well as the name on the front. But those players are playing for the name on the front of the jersey, and I think that's awesome.
So where can our viewers and listeners get some of the St. John's gear?
Man, listen, it's about to be on. So I got this beast plural of the Big East collection dropping 310 at Macy's, Hell Square, and it lids on 42nd Street. Why you say Macy's? Because the Big East tournament is that week, and
At
we
the Garden.
are at the Garden. So we have all 11 Big East schools represented, right, in this collection. St. John's is special, so we got a few extra things, but it's going to be at Macy's Herald Square starting the 10th of March. But here's the cool part about it. The reason I call this collection beast plural of the Big East is because I'm paying homage to the great coaches and the great players that defined college basketball for a very long time. And now we got a new generation of coaches that are doing the same thing. And the Big East, in my opinion, is a different brand of basketball. And when they're good as a conference, those teams fare well in the larger pool of the
Oh, it
NCAA.
was like the NCAA, it was like the NFC East in your day. The
Yeah.
Big East was so tough, which is why those 80s teams were going to finals and winning championships and getting to the Final Four because they were beating the crap out of each other and
And
nobody
that's
wanted a taste of that.
and you're going to see folks tune in because in the next few days you're going to start to see you're going to hear a lot of that and see a lot of that because part of this campaign, Bob, I've been to Providence, I've been to UConn, interviewing coaches, right? Interviewing players. So it's a whole immersive experience. And then we have the Big East Rewind podcast that's going to go live from the middle of Macy's during the Big East tournament. And they're going to be interviewing the likes of Rip Hamilton and Allen Iverson and those guys. So it's a big thing. Like we're really going all in on the Big East, and the beast of the Big East is exactly what it means. Like there was again great coaches that defined the sport, great players that defined the sport. A time when four Big East teams were in the Final Four. Like think about that. You talk about dominance of a conference, but then you look at the current group Like Villanova has a kid, Eric Dixon, who's leading the league in scoring, leading the country in scoring and in 3 points. He's big. He looks like he could be a defensive end, but he moves like a Charles Barkley. Um, Providence has got great kids. Obviously, we know the UConn team that won national championships back to back, and then St. John's. It's like these are just great time to be in the Big East. Great conference.
All right, check it out. Macy's Herald Square kicking off the Big East tournament. Beasts of the East.
Beast of the Big East, plural.
Beasts of the Big East.
Yeah.
So you got a sweatshirt that says Georgetown with a sewn on towel over it, a white towel for John Thompson. Or at
I
least,
wish I would have thought of that.
at least Velcro where you can take it off.
Yeah.
You got it on.